In this video, I'm about to cover how to balance the tightness of your targeting within your Google Ads so that you can get the best results possible for the budget that you have available. This sounds quite boring, but I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the most important parts. It's really like the real cornerstone of your management of a Google Ads campaign to be as effective as it can be. So my name is Max Sinclair. I'm founder of Snowball Creations. We're a paid ads agency. We specialize in positive impact business, and that's why I know about this stuff. So let's get into it. Woo! So firstly, why does this matter? So really the core of all of Google Ads is that you have X amount of budget, let's say it's £1,000, and you're trying to get as many conversions as possible from that budget as you can. And a step back from conversions often is clicks. So either way, you're trying to get as much out of this £1,000 as possible to get you the best result as possible. So best case scenarios like conversions, let's say you've got £1,000, you want to get as many sales as possible, as many conversions into purchases, or as many leads as possible. So let's say you've got £20 cost per lead, you're going to get that many for your 1,000. If it's £50 cost per lead or if it's £10 cost per lead, of course it's better if it's 10. So you're trying to work to lower that cost per lead, which is making that get more out of that 1,000. In the same way with e-commerce, if you sell on average an item for £10 and you've got 1,000 versus £100 per purchase, then you're of course getting a lot more purchases out of it. And often, especially when you're starting and you don't have much conversion data yet, you might focus more on clicks initially. So at the beginning, you might have a really high cost per click, lots of different reasons why you might be only getting, let's say £10 cost per click, really high. You're way overspending on your cost per click for your £1,000. So then you're getting a very small number of clicks for this £1,000. But then you do all of these different things. You maybe narrow down your keywords into tighter types like exact match instead of phrase or broad. Maybe you improve on all of the different ways, like you improve on the adverts, you do all these different things, and then that gets your cost per click from £10 to let's say £1. And then you've got magically 1,000 clicks, way more than you had previously. And that's thanks to just getting more out of your budget. So this is why this all matters. And ultimately, to get more out of that £1,000, the way you do that is by becoming tighter within your targeting. So that is tighter in many different ways. But the most common ways you can look at would be keywords in particular. So let's start with keywords themselves. So you can have a keyword, for example, let's say we have an e-commerce company and they're selling eco home products or something. So somebody's searching home products just as a keyword, home products. That's a very, very broad keyword. So there's going to be tens of thousands of people searching home products, which is not appropriate or as appropriate to the kind of eco home product marketplace that we're maybe trying to promote. So this means that you're wasting a lot of your clicks on bad customers. So we can make this more narrow, the targeting more narrow, by say only going with a keyword instead that's like more of a complete keyword for that business model, which is eco home goods or sustainable home goods, or something where it adds that kind of eco twist into the home products, home goods kind of keyword as well. So this is kind of more of a complete user intent that's more narrow. So this is one of the ways. You can also do things like having more exact match keywords instead of broad match. Broad match is like opening the funnel to full, so it just pumps clicks really, and cash through this system as hard as it can. It finds any weird version of the words that you've put in and will show you up on them. And then there's exact match, which is the complete opposite, which is still pretty broad nowadays, but it's still much more tight and specific than the broad match, where it really is meant to at least be only people searching for these exact words. It isn't like that anymore. It's a bit more like a phrase match nowadays, to be honest, but it still is in that direction. So this is another way that you can become much more narrow. So ultimately, if you have £1,000 to spend, how do you know if you're too narrow or too broad? Let's start with the too narrow actually, because this gives you a kind of benchmark. If you're too narrow, you have £1,000 per month. And so let's say, for example, you have £30 per day. You can go in and look at the last, say, 14 days You want to have a good date range because it does go up and down day to day based on just casual amounts of actual traffic coming through Google for those terms. But let's say we look at the last 14 days, maybe 30 days, and you just look and see if you have a £30 budget, how much is Google spending? Like, is it more like 10 to 15 every single day? Well, then clearly you're not spending all of your £30. And that will be because Google cannot find enough traffic. It can't find enough searches. For example, if we put in eco home products for Kent in the UK as a keyword, some ridiculous 10-word thing, wouldn't even work anyway, but let's say it did, you would maybe have one search a year for that. So you, of course, could not spend any of your budget on that. And there's, of course, the other end of the spectrum where it's very broad. So in this scenario, you can tell if the kind of combination of your keywords and your match types and all of this other stuff are meaning that you don't have enough volume to even be spending your £1,000. Sometimes that's okay, by the way, so you might want to just lower your budget. But generally speaking, if you've got a budget in mind and you're trying to do a certain amount of testing, you want to get a good quantity through the system to be able to learn kind of quickly enough. So that's the first thing, is just look to see if you're spending your daily amount. If you're not, you're too tight. If you're too broad, this will be when you'll see the limited by budget symbol, which will appear as like a warning. It doesn't always, sometimes you get this in other scenarios, but I'm simplifying some of this stuff for you. So you ultimately see this limited by budget. This means that Google is like, cool, okay, you've given us this criteria of these keywords with these match types, etc. So I'm going out into the world of search and I can find like tons of searches actually for this. And so now I can find more than £1,000 worth of searches. I can find 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 pounds worth of searches. So actually, Google is like, oh, you're limiting me by budget. You need to spend more budget, as if that's a problem. It is not always a problem. You should just stay with what budget you want to be happy with. But it's ultimately a signal to say that you have lots left to grab, basically. So what this also means, though, is that you want to be as tight as you possibly can. The real sweet spot is that if you have a £1,000 budget, you're just spending that £1,000. Because what that means is you are as narrow and tight as possible while ultimately spending your budget. Woo! Because if you have 1,500 clicks, then you could be a little bit tighter in your targeting and still be spending your 1,000 clicks. And ultimately, tighter is always better in terms of quality of traffic. So the tighter you go, the more quality traffic it will be. Like, for example, eco home product goods is obviously going to be a better customer than just home product goods. You can go too far with this, of course, like I said, if you don't spend your budget, but you do want to be just hitting around where it is. So actually, to kind of bring it all together, my best signal for an account is when we occasionally see that limited by budget, but just backwards and forwards. Like we find this kind of balancing tipping point of we've added enough keywords in, we've maybe played with the bidding, there's obviously bidding strategy is a huge part of this as well, which I'm not going to go into in this video because it goes on forever, but there's exact match, phrase match, broad match, you've tried all these different things. So you want to occasionally see limited by budget, or even have it stay there pretty much consistently. That's actually okay. But just, you want to know that you're near that point. So the way that you know that you're near that point is that you see it kind of appear one day or 1 week, you maybe adjust it a little bit and then it disappears. And then you just adjust it a little bit and then it starts to appear again. So this means that you're likely at that kind of sweet spot of highly targeted, as narrow as you can get it, while still spending your £1,000 or whatever your budget is. So this is the real art form to it. It's really important because if you always see limited by budget, you're likely going way too broad. And if you're just basically way too narrow, that you're not even spending your budget, you're spending £4 a day when you want to be spending 30, then you're barely going to get any traffic into the website anyway. You're not going to learn anything. So it's two forces that you always have to be aware of, and balancing those can really be the kind of a huge improvement in results because it's kind of the ultimate leading factor based on how you've done the rest of your ads in terms of the setup of your campaigns and everything. I hope this has helped. It's a bit of a deep one. It's quite complicated. There's so many factors to consider, but hopefully you followed me to some degree. My name is Max Sinclair. I do these videos every couple of weeks. Please do subscribe if you've enjoyed them, and I will see you in the next one.